Have you guys ever done something or said something so bad that you deeply regret it? Because if you have, I think you might understand Dan Harmon's position just a little bit better. Dan Harmon is under fire by cancelers everywhere because of a spoof he did of the show Dexter.
I can count on you to sleep like a baby. Well, I do everything but sleep with yours.
Now, it's a spoof, it's a parody, whatever you want to put behind it. It's disgusting and it's gross, and I ultimately see the context of what he's saying, but that doesn't make the video any much better. Does it matter that Dan Harmon's already apologized? And does it matter that the sketch is so ridiculous that obviously you're supposed to get the point of it? Apparently not. That doesn't matter at all. Harmon may have gone too far, but now I think cancel culture is going too far with him. If we cancel Dan Harmon and Rick and Morty, should we not also cancel Dexter? What's going on, guys? My name's Cliff, and this is Unpack That Bowl. Unpack That Bowl, the show where we take a deep dive into pop culture. On this episode of Unpack That Bowl, we're taking a deep dive into the problem with Dan Harmon and cancel culture. Now, who is Dan Harmon? Dan Harmon is a director and a writer and creator of a famous TV show called Community. Community, a critically acclaimed cult classic about 7 students of all ages attending a community college. While on Community, Dan Harmon would be too much of a perfectionist, sometimes handing unlaid scripts or doing rewrites and reshoots. He also had beef with one of his actors, played by Chevy Chase. Now, Chevy Chase's character plays an old man who says some racist and sexist shit, and Chevy Chase is known to have said some racist and sexist shit. So he left a voicemail saying that he was being underutilized on the show.
And your writing is getting worse and worse, so suck my cock, you goddamn alcoholic fat shit. I got nothing to say to you except you can suck my cock. Is that clear? And I hope you can play that for everybody around you who agrees with you that you should say you in front of all of those people, to me and my family. You think that's the right way to behave? If you were here right now, I'd kick your teeth out.
I doubt that.
You're nothing to me. You're a billion of you I've worked with before. You're not funny. You're okay.
Now, the voicemail was out of place, and Chevy Chase was being an asshole. And Dan Harmon plays this at the season 3 premiere in front of the cast, this Chevy Chase voicemail. The NBC executives did not like this, so they fired him. Season 4 of Community was a disaster, so they rehired him. And then they fired Pierce in season 4, Chevy Chase. That's what I meant to say. And then they fired Chevy Chase in season 4. Dan Harmon was back for season 5. Dan Harmon bought the series back where he could. The writing and the feel of the show felt right, but then it lost its home at NBC. It was picked up by Yahoo and finished out for a 6th season, which the 6th season actually felt like a true ending. Dan Harmon made a good show. So later, Dan Harmon teams up with fellow weirdo Justin Roiland, and they create the show Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is about the adventures of a kid named Morty, followed by his wacky and disturbed grandfather named Rick, as they do a whole bunch of space and time travel. Go to different planets and different dimensions, and wackiness ensues. Again, it's a critically acclaimed show, not for being the super smart show that you have to be smart enough to understand, but Dan Harmon understands how to write a story and how to tell tropes and how to use intelligence and pseudo-intelligence and make fun of the same people that can enjoy the show. And they don't even know they're being made fun of. So 2 years ago, while this show Rick and Morty's on a hiatus, a video pops up of Dan Harmon sexually assaulting a baby doll.
I can count on you to sleep like a baby. Well, I do everything but sleep with yours.
And I was like, what the fuck? Everyone was like, yo, what, Dan, what is this shit? What the fuck is this shit, yo? Alright, so let's be clear right here. No one is denying that what Dan Harmon did is not atrocious. In 2009, he made a skit parodying Dexter, a TV show about a killer who murders serial killers. In Harmon's version, he was a protagonist that travels back in time and sexually assaults serial killers as babies. Now, undeniably it's a joke, but one, it's not even funny. Two, it's not logical because like you would be the reason why they're serial killers. One of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes is about a woman who goes back in time, kills Hitler as a baby. Has to replace the baby she uses to replace the Hitler baby ends up being Hitler. Whatever you do is going to affect the future, my nigga. So like, there's a way to do it. It's a heinous act done to a child, right? But murder is okay. You can throw that baby in the river. He's about to be Hitler. Don't put your penis in it though. That's weird. That's weird. Do you guys remember dead baby jokes? Because I sure do. Dead baby jokes was a huge part of Edgelord culture. Edgelord culture is something where you use shock value to get the most laughs. A lot of people know what Edgelord culture is because they participated in it when we were younger. It's an easy form of comedy. You say something shocking, and then I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. It's a dark area in my head that society says that's taboo. Don't joke about that. Now I think the best comedians find a way to joke about this in a way that like it makes sense, but you have to pay attention who the joke's on. The joke is always supposed to be on the person who was offensive. That a person that's being offensive is funny because they're wrong. In the show Community, Dan Harmon exhibits this with the character Pierce.
It's probably Arabic for not clearly. Huh? You're bald.
So are you?
I'll kill you, you... You're giving me that look you give me like I can't get erections. What? We all know what we're really thinking. If, and I mean if, the culprit is among us, statistically speaking, it's Troy.
And again, to the extreme, he does this with his skit. The problem is, in 2009, when he did this skit, it made sense with culture. Now understand that Edgelord culture was always a time thing, and it was always going to go away. So, when people start now having to be held responsible for the words they say, you can't joke about everything. And then people find these things and they go, oh shit, Dan Harmon's glorifying pedophilia. Dan Harmon's a pedophile. Hold on, slow down. Let's reel it back in a little bit. Dan Harmon jokingly glorified pedophilia as a way to stop murder. Dexter glorifies murder as a way to stop murder. And can we just all agree for 1 second that murder and pedophilia are both atrocious acts? We're just desensitized to murder. We become numb to seeing murder, seeing someone get blowed. I literally watched a video on Twitter today where someone got like capped in real life, and I was like, that's crazy. Next. Like, that's how desensitized we become to murder. And what if we glorify an equally repulsive act that we have not yet become numb to? Then we become outraged. But should we unnumb ourselves to murder? Maybe. That's a conversation for another day. What I want to talk about is cancel culture and the rules. Just because Twitter says someone is canceled does not mean that they're actually canceled. Sometimes people make jokes and then they miss the mark completely. And sometimes people do things and they say something and it's wrong, right? When a normal person makes a mistake, you're not as famous, so you don't have as many people holding you accountable for the things you're saying. You can say something and just slip under the radar and people will never know. Unless you say something to someone's face, or you say something to someone else and that person finds out, or those people find out, then we as society like to go on Twitter and post what they said, post a picture of their social media. Twitter, do your thing, find out where they work, find out where they go to school, and trash that shit. Now, for me, I agree with that. When you do or say things, they have consequences. You gonna ruin someone's life because they said some racist thing, they called you the N-word, now you're gonna ruin their life. I'm not ruining their life. Sometimes people's lives hit roadblocks and you have to build, and that's where you figure out if you have character. So, you make a mistake, you say some racist shit, I'm not ruining your life, I'm just making you face the consequences that you need to face. People can understand that when it comes to non-famous people, but then when they're famous, it's called cancel culture, right? And oh, you can't just cancel everybody because they said one thing. It's fucked up and it's racist. But here's the thing. Twitter can't just cancel anyone. You can't cancel someone that you're not a fan of. And I believe in cancel culture if it's done right, but that's the biggest thing, is that people aren't always the fans of the person that they're canceling. You can still cancel someone if you're not their fan, but it's not going to affect them. The actual act of cancellation isn't felt unless the fans do the canceling. You can't cancel a subscription you never subscribed to. Base Nectar was recently accused of sexual assault and sexual misconduct, but because the inner fandom canceled Base Nectar, he actually felt it. These people don't make their money from the outside people canceling them. They make their money from the inside people who spend money on them. And when that money dries up, you have actually felt their actions. Prime examples. Louis C.K. He was canceled because he decided to jerk off on the phone in front of women, and that's wrong. And Louis C.K.'s cancellation was felt because even though he has a small group of followers that still were like, yo, I stand by Louis C.K., it was a mistake. The rest of us realized that him being funny did not justify his actions. And he was on stage saying the N-word too.
Then this fucking nigger fell asleep with the forklift. Nigger fell asleep with the forklift. And his cousin goes, oh my God, the nigger fell asleep with the forklift?
And I felt a way about that, but that's whatever. Shane Dawson is also a person that we have been trying to cancel for a while. And it seems like because his fan base wasn't ready or isn't ready to cancel him, then he can't be canceled. And when I say cancel people, I mean you need to go away from society, take a time out, re-educate, relearn, come back, and then it's gravy. But people want to give out fake apologies. His apology wasn't right the first time, and right now he's on the edge, mostly because his first apology. And I was like, yo, see, you really didn't learn shit. You can find videos, I believe there's years worth of videos of this nigga just doing or saying some racist shit. But that's edgelord culture. Now there's also the Dave Chappelle effect. This man is uncancelable. It's just not gonna happen. Early in his career, Dave pushed the envelope of comedy and what made things funny, and he examined the racial undertone to why things were funny. There's a Wayne Brady skit where he plays off the whiteness of Wayne Brady and what happens when Wayne Brady acts different than what we're used to. He also uses skits like the racial draft to expose stereotypes that are seen inside of each racial community. Dave then walked away from a boatload of money for his own morals. That immediately makes you a superhero. So now his fan base is like, he can do no wrong. And I think Dave Chappelle is one of the funniest motherfuckers on the planet. But like, he says some things sometimes and I'm like, I don't agree, bro. And he like had Louis C.K. show up at one of his events too, and I was like, but stop, my nigga, stop. What should you do if this happens to you? Step 1, apologize the correct way. Say what you did was wrong, apologize for hurting the people that you hurt. Say that you will learn and you will grow, and if people don't want to be your fan anymore, that's okay. Don't fight it. Don't double down on it. Step 2, educate yourself on why you were wrong. Take the time, talk to the people in the community, take classes, listen to the elders, learn the history, figure out why you were wrong. Step 3, give some money, all right? Your pockets might hurt for a little bit, but I guarantee you, to rectify this, you want your pockets to, you gotta be, the cost of making money is giving up some money, you know, so you gotta pay. You need to pay retribution to make it right. Step 4, apologize. Apologize now. Apologize if it's brought up in a year, 5 years, 10 years. Apologize. You are going to have to keep apologizing for this for the rest of your life. That's how being a better person works. Better people don't just fight it. They acknowledge that they did something wrong and they go, yo, my bad. All right, you are right and I apologize. Step 5, don't ignore it. Don't just try and sweep it under the rug and move on to the next thing. Just be like, oh, well, that's past me. Like, that is you. You just have to rise up and be a better person despite that. And step 6, especially if you're a comedian, be more like John Mulaney. That nigga is the most unproblematic white person I've ever seen. we stand John Mulaney. So ultimately, I don't think Rick and Morty should be canceled. Dan Harmon seems like he has some things that he knows he has to work out. Like, he has a dark mind. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I really feel like, all right, I mean, is a product of its time, and that's not an excuse, but it's an explanation of it. I don't know what time was ever acceptable to like fuck a doll, but like definitely not now. Well, guys, thanks for watching. My name's Cliff, and this has been Unpack That Bowl. Peace. And then we see Drogon blasting through the city. In a chair. And Shrek was pretty. I maybe wash the shit off my hands, and then we peel it off. I've heard of buoyancy related to like boats, and like, for example, how little compromise with evil is okay as long as it all works out in the end, right? Bop, bop. He had it with the shield. He said, everyone was flaming him too.
Fuck that, dude.
Everyone was flaming.
Hey, we racing the roof.
Like, do something if it means everything or whatever the fuck it said. I guess so, but.
Never wanted you to